Hey guys, welcome to another quick LSU practice report here on the Chase with Jace, presented by Gridiron Football. And just want to let y'all know that we're getting very close to football season. Really excited about that. This is going to be a quick episode, guys. So before we start, though, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Make sure to go to our website, gridironfootballusa.com, for more details. Also, we have our raffle tickets we still got going on for a cruise. So if you're interested in trying to win a chance to win a cruise or two, I'll put that link for you to go and buy some tickets in below. That way you can get a chance to win. Do the drawing tomorrow at noon. So we'll see who wins that two those two tickets for a cruise. So we'll definitely make sure to go and get yourself a shot at winning as well. We also have our magazine too. Just want to let y'all know about that. So first print magazine in a couple years. So make sure to go to our website, gridironfootballusa.com, to order yourself a copy. Right now, myself and Annie are working on another magazine coming up too. We basically had about 100 schools from our media day that came and that we covered. So we're going to cover a lot of their programs and have season write ups on them for the upcoming season. So appreciate Gridiron Football, obviously. So let's go into it. Let's talk about LSU. This is going to be a quick episode, guys, because really we didn't get a lot of access. We had about three periods. Yesterday we had obviously a whole lot of access because we had a whole day. But today we just only had about three periods. You get those days where you get the whole day of access, so you get a whole lot to talk about. And then you get those other days where they only allow you for about three periods. So any access is good access, and we appreciate that. So, but today we only got about three periods of work, and all three were held indoors again. Basically, the biggest headline from today, from what we saw out there, Aaron Anderson, who is LSU's leading receiver from last year, well, he was not available at practice today. That's basically the biggest news from today. He was not working individual drills with the receivers. He wasn't working the first team with the first team offense. But Brian Kelly, I don't think there's anything really to really be nervous about or kind of buying your nails about because Brian Kelly said yesterday that they have eight SEC caliber wide receivers. So you're trying to make sure all of them are healthy. Aaron Anderson is going to be, without doubt, one of your top targets this year for Garrett Nussmeier. So if there is a little, nick up here and there with an ankle or something, right? It could be something not serious at all. But you want to have all those guys at your disposal, especially with the potential of this offense and having all these guys available. So I don't think it's really anything to really be nervous about, fans, because I did see him walk by, kind of grimacing a little bit, and we were outside. So I don't think it's nothing really too drastic. But you want to make sure there's anything, one little sign of something. You want to make sure everybody is full go, and you want to make sure everybody is fully healthy, especially your best players. And Aaron Anderson is definitely one of the Tigers' top players for this upcoming year, especially after the year he had last year. So Aaron Anderson was not able to practice today, but we'll find out more. We'll have our next media availability on Saturday. So we'll return to practice, and hopefully he's out there. But maybe it's just one of those days just to take off as we start fall camp. Now, because of that, with Aaron Anderson being out, from what we were able to see, you never know. We only had about three periods. He could have been out there after those three periods, but while we were inside, while they were running individual, basically team first team offense, we weren't able to see him out there, and he wasn't out there with the wide receivers either. But that could have all changed after those three periods. But this allowed Darian Brown to get some work in with the ones. So he's the Kentucky transfer. He is one of the fastest players in college football. And I mentioned him yesterday. He caught a deep ball touchdown from Garrett Nussmeier. It was a beautiful dime. And really Darian Brown beat Ashton Stamps, who is projected to be the Tigers' top cornerback, and he's a really good cornerback for the Tigers, but he burned him. And it was a beautiful throw, deep ball from Nussmeier. And Baron Brown is a playmaker. He's going to make a lot of plays. Obviously, he set all kinds of SEC records at Kentucky in terms of his kick returns and punt return touchdowns and all of that. So he's a dynamic playmaker. And he got in the first team offense. Like Brian Kelly said, there's about 8 wide receivers that are SEC caliber in this offense. So a lot of people will get a lot of touches. So this allowed Barron Brown to be with the first team. So you're wondering who that fourth guy fourth guy up is. Right now it's Barron Brown, and he's definitely one of those guys that could crack into the first team. And right now, they're gonna roll with those three guys: Aaron Anderson, Xavier Thomas, and Chris Hilton, because those have been really the veterans, the more proven guys with LSU. But you also got to consider that Barron Brown was an All SEC player at Kentucky, so having him is going to be a big time deal, and giving him some looks with the first team offense. I think that was really good. What also was really good today what is basically the other headline I want to talk about. So Barron Brown getting first team reps, and for Aaron Anderson, let's talk about another Anderson wide receiver, Nick Anderson. He was back today. Remember, not he was going through concussion protocol after he was in a car accident, involved in a car accident. But he was going through concussion protocol, so he wasn't really a full go with the team yesterday. Well, he's back, so that's great news for the Tigers. He was able to get some work in with the wide receivers and with the second team too. So that's really encouraging to see. Offensive line, I talked about a little bit yesterday that is going to be some pieces that will change. I mean, over the course of fall camp, because it is unproven. It's an unproven group. We talked about the last couple of years. You return those starters, and you knew what you had. You knew what you had in Will Campbell. You knew what you had in Emory Jones, Garrett Dellinger, Miles Frazier. You knew what you had in those guys. Now all those guys are gone. So it's just trying to figure out what's going to be the best combination. For the second straight day, it was the same offensive line group. It was Tyree Adams at left tackle, DJ Chester was at left guard, Braylon Moore, the Virginia Tech transfer, he was at center. Josh Thompson was at right guard, and Weston Davis is at right tackle. So the same exact starting offensive line from yesterday was the same offensive line as today. And because of the limited amount of time we saw today, we got actually extended look, and probably as good of an extended look as I've ever seen when covering LSU during fall camp at special teams. Usually don't really get a whole lot of looks, especially early in fall camp from the special teams unit, but we actually got extended look today. Damian Ramos and Aaron Burrell got to see him kind of rotate, kicking field goals. Damian was he is a star going into the season. He's going to be your kicker. He was your kicker the last couple of years. But he was a little off today. I mean, he was about, I believe, 2 for 3. He missed a field goal attempt out there. Aaron Burrell was really sharp with his kicking, and we all knew about the leg and potential he has. He's probably going to be your kickoff guy this year, too. But it's good to see Aaron get some reps in, because he's probably going to be your favorite for next year to be the starting kicker at LSU. And he made all of his attempts, I think, including one. There was one from about 48 yards out that he nailed. So he is going to be a dynamic weapon, especially if he continues to work on his accuracy as a field goal kicker. We all knew about his leg coming from high school when he was at Parkway High School, and everybody was raving about his leg. So just getting him some reps and getting him some looks, because Damian, he's going to be your place kicker this year because he's been a veteran starter, but get him some work as well. Because eventually he's going to be your guy. I think Damian Ramos seemed like he's been there forever. He's been there since Brian Kelly's gone here. Remember, he was the kicker in the opening game against Florida State, so he's still here, entering year number 4. But Ramos was able to work with the first team unit. Grant Chadwick, that's the punter. He was the holder. Jonathan Ferguson, the long snapper. And there's basically another note I want to mention too. Defensively, there wasn't really a whole lot to really talk about, because when we were able to see the offense, it was just going a lot of up tempo stuff. So stuff that the first team offense was working on, the second team offense was working on, and the third team offense was working on. Defensively, we saw a lot of individual go to their position groups, right? Working with their position groups, and that's what we saw for the most part. And we saw them working on a couple of different things when we were out there. They did a 4 circuit drill. They're working on tackling, wrapping up. And they basically did a lot of that pursuit drills with especially with some of the bigger guys with the defensive linemen, the linebackers did a lot of pursuit drills and just wrapping up some of kind of the fundamental stuff. We saw a lot from the defensive guys, but really not a whole lot to really talk about defensively from today. It was really mostly offensively. Obviously, the biggest name headline about Aaron not being out there indoors, and Marion Brown getting some first team looks at with the first team offense. The tight ends yesterday, Bauer Sharp was still your first team tight end, but you expect both Bauer Sharp and Trades Green to get a whole lot of rotation because both of them bring different talents, different skills to the table. I mean, Bauer Sharp is your more prototypical tight end that can put his hand in the dirt, and he can be a decent pass catcher as well. He does both really well. And then Trades Green is like your Jimmy Graham type of mold, right? A big mismatch problem as a wide receiver. He's too big for defensive backs. He's too quick for linebackers. He's a mismatch. He's a Jimmy Graham. He's a receiving tight end. So both of them bring two different skill sets to the table. But both are obviously going to play. What is interesting though, I'm going to talk one thing about the second team. Jawan Johnson got second team reps today. I thought that was really interesting. He started out actually getting a couple of zone read type of plays in offensively with the second team, and then about 2 or 3 plays later, that here comes Michael Van Buren. He comes in leading the offense. So I thought that was interesting today. You might see a wrinkle. I still think you might see a little wrinkle in there for Jawan Johnson for him to get a couple of plays because he's a dynamic player. He's a versatile player. You've seen him play DB at LSU. You've seen him play running back at LSU. Obviously, quarterback. He was breaking all kinds of records when he was at LCA. So he brings a lot to the table. And I think with Joe Sloan, there's just so many toys, so many pieces to really play with. It's going to be really interesting to see how he fits all those puzzle pieces into play, how he puts them all together. That's going to be really interesting to see what he does because there are a ton of weapons, right? We talk about those 8 wide receivers. We talk about Trades Green, Bauer Sharp, the 2 tight ends. You got a couple running backs. You can throw the football to. Jawan Johnson can be in there. There's not a lack of weapons in this LSU offense, so that's going to be interesting to follow. Well, guys, that's pretty much it from today's practice report. We got highlights on our YouTube channel, so you want to see some of the highlights from today. Make sure to go to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe, and feel free to tell your friends. Feel free to tell everybody. We'll have some practice reports like this after every LSU practice. Some of them will be longer depending on how much we're able to see. But if you want to read more, make sure to go to our website too. We'll have a practice report posted there as well. So go to gridironfootballusa.com. You can read more about today's practice. You can read more about yesterday's practice as well. Make sure to follow us on social media. Too, you can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on X, Instagram. So make sure to follow us to keep posted with everything we got going on at Gridiron Football. I know we're bringing back the Chase with Jace for the season. When we have football, fall practice reports, after each fall practice that we have media availability for, I'll come back and give you basically a fall practice report. And then during the season, and when we get to the season, we'll do 2 episodes of the Chase with Jace. We'll do one on Wednesdays at 7 o'clock, and then we'll do another one. It'll be Facebook. It would be the next day after. So every Sunday morning, we'll chime in and talk about the night before, the game before. So make sure to subscribe, and hopefully y'all enjoy this. We're going to try to do more and more with each and passing week, and hopefully y'all enjoyed this show. And make sure to share it out to everybody. And we're looking forward to seeing all of y'all in the next episode. So feel free to comment if you have any questions. Feel free to comment on the YouTube link below. Feel free to comment below, and if you have any questions about any particular player or anybody, any position group, or anything that you want me to pay more attention to, feel free to comment below, and I'll make sure to try to give you an update on that. Thanks, guys, for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed this quick episode of the Chase with Jace.